This is the Post Shift Podcast, a raw look at the hospitality industry. Good evening, Post Shifters, and yet it is another Tuesday morning, which means it's a Post Shift shot time. It is, in fact, the Monday evening before you're listening to this. I just finished work at Pagliacci's. I had a long day at school, and I am behind this week on taping some things. I have some Fridays done. I haven't edited them yet, but I've got them done. Some great stuff I did at BC Distilled on Saturday, which included sitting down with James Lester from Sons of Vancouver, one of my favorite little distilleries. He does some crazy cool stuff there. We talk about April Fool's Day, and of course, Gordon and Miriam over at Odd Society, which was a blast. I really like to get to sit down and talk to distillers because I'm working with a few distillers these days. I'm just wondering why people are crazy. I suppose people are saying crazy that they open restaurants and bars in this day and age, but it is in fact about 11:30 on Monday night, and I'm taping this because I refuse to be late, behind, miss an episode, anything. And so today I actually am having a post-shift shot. I'm having some Lachlan McKinnon wine barrel cask single malt, which I'm really enjoying at the end of a 15-hour day. But we should get into it, and this week I want to chat about getting what you want. Now, this is an interesting one because I've sort of touched on it between a couple of different podcasts, including getting a job, negotiating with owners, being a symbiotic relationship. But getting what you want is somewhat of a growth. I think 90% of people don't ask for what they want, and really, at the end of the day, my best thing is like, just keep asking, because the worst thing someone can say is no. And the worst thing someone can say is no is not such a bad thing. You know, if someone says no, you're like, thank you very much, move on to the next one. And I think a lot of people hold themselves back because they're worried about getting told no. No is not a bad thing. No means you just have to try a different angle. And so I wanted to chat a little bit about this because the kids out there, I get a lot of them who say, well, my bosses don't see the work I do and this sort of thing. And sometimes it is the boss is just a dick and he's just taking advantage of you. Don't get me wrong. I would say 9 times out of 10 though, or 99% of the time, or 95% of the time, most people just need to be told. And sometimes everybody gets caught up in their own crap and their own shit that they're not seeing what everybody else is doing for them. And this is where sometimes sitting down and talking to your boss and saying, listen, I'm doing this. I really want to step up my game. I really want to get into management. I want to be a supervisor. I want to compete in cocktail competitions. Is the best way to sort of build this sort of transparent relationship. And I think getting what you want is really based out of a transparent, honest relationship with the people that you work with, or your family, or your spouse, your partner in crime. And I think that's the big thing, is that a lot of people aren't willing to ask what they want. And it is a thing in this modern age where I've seen people leave jobs because they didn't think they were getting the justification for how much work they were doing. And I said to him, I was like, well, did you ever sit down and chat to him? And you don't sit down and be vindictive about it. You don't sit down and go, well, fuck, I'm doing this and I'm fucking doing this and you're fucking taking advantage of me. You sit down and say, like, this is what I've been doing. This is how much time it's taking. This is what I've done for the business. And yourself and the manager, yourself and the owner are always going to be on different paths. 9 times out of 10, different paths getting to the same goal. And it's a big thing if you're on a different path to your boss, it's not a bad thing, but it's the same thing getting to the same goal. And if you let them know that that's what you're going towards because they've told you at the very beginning in a job interview, or they mentioned that they wanted to do a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that, and you've decided to pick up the mantle and like run with it, you need to sit down and talk to them about it. And I think transparency and being honest with yourself, with what you want, and don't hold back with what you want, because the worst thing if you sit down with your boss, the worst thing someone's going to happen is them go, well, yeah, I don't think you're right for this place, and you leave your job and you go get another job. And there's plenty of work out there. And especially in the hospitality industry, folks, there's tons of work in the hospitality industry. This is life in general. Like, too many people hold back for what they really want. Like, if you love fucking garage sale and then put it up on a garage sale, like, flip that shit and make some money. You know, there's so many things out there that you can really, really do, and doubling down on your passion and doing what makes you feel happy is the best thing. Like, you don't want to be 90 years old and look back and go, fuck, I had a shit job. I had a really, really shitty job. And Nobody wants that. Do you want that? I don't want that. But that's what I sort of wanted to say this week is like, how do you get what you want? Is just asking. And people always say is like, how do you get this person or this brand ambassador or this thing? It's like, I just reach out and I ask. Like Dead Rabbit got him to Little Jumbo in 2014. I knew Shawn for a while, but I just asked, do you want to come to Victoria? Jim Meehan reached out to him, was like, how much is it going to cost? How much is it going to cost for you to come and do some stuff? And a friend of mine, Kevin Demers over in Montreal, he started, like, we met and sort of like hung out in Toronto for the Toronto Cocktail Conference last August, and we started like chatting, and I gave him, no, I don't think I gave him any points. I think he already knew what he was doing, but I sort of reinforced what he was doing, and all of a sudden, bang, 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 just brand ambassadors and people to Montreal, and now Montreal's like blowing up for media and people like brand ambassadors and stuff going to Montreal to check it out. But at the end of the day, it's all the root of it is just asking for what you want. And it's the hardest thing to do because everybody's always worried about what people think of you. Who gives a fuck about what people think about you? Just ask for what you want. It's that simple. Ask for what you want. Be honest with yourself. Be level-headed when you ask for what you want. Be honest and try and build a symbiotic relationship when you ask for what you want. And go forward. Have lateral moves. Take a step to the left. Take a step to the right, make a step forward. And this is where you can really build a great career by just asking for what you want. You can build a better life just asking for what you want. And being honest with yourself and doing that, it'll change your world. So, on that note, it is still 11:30 on a Monday night. This is going to podcast tomorrow and video and everything else. So, asking for what you want, getting what you want, however you want to put it, just ask. The worst thing someone's going to say is no. Have a good week, guys. I'll chat to you this week, and I'll see you on Friday. Bye. Thanks, Post Shifters. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you're listening, whatever platform you're on, give me a good rating, subscribe, listen along. I'm going to keep going. I really enjoy sitting down with people and learning where they're from, what they did, and how they got to where they were. So if you love it, give me a good 5 stars. If you don't, give me 1 and I'll try harder.